This is Startup Biz Coach Radio, formerly known as Mornings with Terry, and we're empowering entrepreneurs right from the start. Find us at thestartupbizcoach.com every morning at 10 a.m. Eastern with your host, Terry Clay. Are you ready to get this business started?
Hey, this is Terry Clay, and I am back with another episode of the Startup Biz Coach Radio.
Hey, this is Terry Clay, and I am back with another episode of the Startup Biz Coach Radio. Yeah. So we are back on the call yet another day. I am so excited to be actually back on the call. I'm here in actually Louisville, Kentucky. It's snowing horribly bad today, and I was thinking last night, I was actually preparing for today. I interview on Mondays all the guests that come on the call, and I was like, oh, my internet is down. And so I kind of went to Starbucks and kind of just prepared for the call because I was thinking that the repairman wasn't going to make it. Because they already canceled school like last night for today, and so I was thinking, the repairman's not going to make it, and I was just kind of preparing in advance. And actually, the repairman made it, and he's here now. But I wanted to make sure that we had a good call, so I actually prepared in advance, and that's what it's all about, making sure your dreams come true. So you have no excuses to lose in life, because you always can win if you just kind of make that happen. All right. So if you're new to the call, we do this call every single day, Monday through Friday, right from the blog, thestartupbizcoach.com. And we interview successful people every day, Monday through Thursday. And then on Fridays, I do the call myself. And so today we have a guest on the call, as we do every day. But as we do on the Startup Biz Coach, we allow our guests to introduce themselves. So please, Kim, tell us who you are and what you do.
Well, awesome. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be with you. Obviously, I am a huge proponent of, helping the startup business or business owner or entrepreneur. At its core, what I do in my elevator speeches, what I tell people is I basically help small business owners create more sales on social media.
Oh, all right. And that's awesome because, social media is like I don't even know many businesses that are without social media. Let me ask you this first. Is it like a must-have to be on social media if you are a business or a small business?
Actually, that is an awesome question. I don't think anybody's ever asked me that question, so kudos to you for asking that. When I've been online and owned an online business for 24 years, seriously dating myself with that answer, but I remember when websites first became like the big thing, and everybody says, you got to have a website or you're going to be out of business in 5 years. And I've heard that same thing said about social media, is you got to be there. If you're not there, you're missing out. And I think for almost every business out there, I think there's a few exceptions, but very few that cannot benefit from social media. I think if you own a business, you need to be where the people are, and the people are on social media. So absolutely agree that yes, I think the average business owner needs to be on social media.
Wow.
And just to step into that, I'm sorry, but just from the standpoint of, marketing our businesses, for the first time ever, we have a free medium to, reach the masses that we've never, as a small business owner, had access to before.
Yeah, that sounds good. I like that. I was going to say that my business partner, she lives in a town that's very, very small, and she has a huge following, but it's because of social media. If she had not had videos and those sorts of things on her Facebook page and fan page and all that, she says it herself, I would not be able to reach as many people as I've been able to reach because of the social media. So
it gives us a chance to be competitive, even with big brands today, simply because, if you show up and you do the work, then, you can really stand out and reach an audience that, in the normal course of business, you'd never be able to reach, which is pretty cool.
Mhm. Mhm. One of the things that I did in business when I first started out, I used to just kind of be on my Facebook page and kind of just posting, I got to buy this and buy this and buy that. And I learned later that it was really a lot of mistakes that I had in my social media marketing. So what are the mistakes that people make, and how can they solve those mistakes in social media marketing?
Well, two things come to mind immediately. Even though social media is an amazing tool, it's probably the only marketing tool that I have ever seen that people approach it with no plan. So, everybody goes at it and says, oh, well, I just want more business, but yet they don't quantify that business and they don't lay out strategies to achieve that goal set. So I would say that's probably the first problem. And I think the other, you just articulated it. It actually happened to me a couple of times on Twitter this morning. And it's funny because as a result of that, I actually created a graphic this morning that reads, and I'll just read it to you because I think it highlights exactly the point. You don't meet someone in real life and say, hey, check out my website. I've got 20% off. So I think it's okay to do so on social media. It's not okay.
Right.
So, it's kind of similar to, you don't walk into somebody's living room and spray paint on their wall. You see a lot of people do this on Facebook in particular. They'll friend you, you'll accept their friend request, and then they immediately come to your wall and say, take a look at my business.
Right.
And honestly, it's not that people are usually, I'd like to give people the benefit of the doubt. So when I say this, usually it's just lack of knowledge. They just simply don't understand that that's not good social media etiquette.
Right.
So I just try to liken it to, again, things that we can relate to. We don't do that in real life. And really, social media is just life. That's really what it's all about. It's being relatable, forming relationships. Actually, it starts with a conversation that leads to a relationship. But sometimes we just tend to go right to the, hey, buy from me, and that doesn't work real well. Right.
Yeah, I learned that, and actually at the time, I kind of thought it worked, and then I realized it didn't work. Because I did get some sales from it, but it wasn't the same as when I started to, I guess, build relationships. So tell us a little bit more about how to really build relationships via social media.
Well, I basically liken it to exactly the same type of experience that we have or that we go through in real life, in the sense of, when you go to a social event, whether it's church or a networking event or, even a social event where, it's a party of some sort. It doesn't really matter what kind of public space you find yourself in. If you are introduced to someone new, or you just walk up to someone new that you've never met before, you find some common ground. You strike up a conversation that you can converse on, whether that's the weather or whether it's, the fact that you both have children or, sports or whatever it is, you find some common ground. And that you either find some common ground and you strike up a conversation that, you feel comfortable talking to that person, or you move on and you find somebody else to talk to. So it's exactly the same thing on social media. You just strike up a conversation. You try to find relatable content. So if you're talking specifically to somebody, my suggestion always is to try to connect with 3 to 5 new people each and every day. I mean, that's a core basic networking tip anyway. But we sometimes tend to not do that on social media. But let's say, hey, here's, do a little bit of research. Here's 3 to 5 people that look like they would be my ideal client, my ideal customer. And I'm going to reach out to them on a personal level. In other words, I'm going to go to their Facebook page and I'm going to, you hate to say stalk them, but I'm going to find something personal that I can, reach out on, or I can comment on one of their posts, or, something that builds some connection and some rapport. I think that's exactly what it's all about. That starts the conversation, that ultimately you can have several conversations that lead to what I call the know, like, and trust factor. People have to know you, they have to like you, and ultimately they have to trust you before they're going to buy from you.
Yes, that's good. I like that. Wow, that's good. So that I think that's going to help somebody.
I
One
hope
of the things that I
so.
noticed, yes, it is. One of the things that I noticed on Facebook, well, I've been on Facebook probably maybe 8 years by now, and I think that I could get a lot of people. I can have 5,000 friends, and still they would see a lot of my posts. But what I've noticed is there has been a change in Facebook of who can see your stuff. I mean, you could put links on there, you could put YouTube videos at first, and they would see all of that. And now I notice that it's kind of different. And so how can a small business improve their reach, their Facebook reach now with all of these changes in Facebook?
Well, honestly, it's getting really tough because,
Yeah.
Facebook has begun to monetize their platform. They started a couple of years ago, and they've just continued to refine it and kind of got to a place where you're almost at a pay-to-play mode. You almost have to pay to really get in front of your ideal client. The beauty about that. So let me just address the pay to play thing. Basically that just means paying for ads and refining your marketing message and reaching your ideal client on Facebook in a targeted way. So the thing with Facebook and their ad platform is they've made it a lot simpler, and you don't have to spend a lot of money to do exactly what I just said. You can actually have a budget of $1 a day. And, so a lot of people think, well, geez, ads have to cost me, they're going to cost me hundreds of dollars a month, and I can't do that. As small business owners, most of us don't have hundreds of dollars to spend each and every month. But what could you invest in your business that would make a difference? And, start with something small. Make sure you are absolutely getting in front of your ideal client, because that's the neat part about Facebook is they probably have more data on us than we have on us. I mean,
yes.
We tell them so much stuff, and so it's probably the best database of targeted information that we could possibly get our hands on for the price point that they're asking. So don't totally discount pay to play is basically my message, and do so in a way that's affordable to your business. Like I said, you could literally do $1 a day. And if you're not marketing your business each and every day, I will add this: if you're not marketing your business each and every day, you're wrong. you have to let people know you're there. So if you can swing $1 a day, I would encourage you to do that. Outside of that, it's really about content. And, how can you build great content that's going to not only engage your audience, but that's relatable to your audience so that they'll share it within their communities. Because, again, it's one thing to say, okay, hey, let's just say, I've got 500 fans on my Facebook page. Well, where the reach is now, you may, when you post on Facebook, about 1% to 2% of those people are going to see your content. Right. So that's not a lot. That's, 5-10 folks out of 500. And you have to have great content. You have to post pretty frequently. And, you have to have content that they're going to say, hey, that's awesome. I want to share that with my community.
Exactly. Let me ask you something about content. I know there's different ways. I do videos, I do blogging, I do just different ways to get content out there. Podcasts, I have this podcast. So now let me ask you a question. As a small business owner and they're putting out content, do you suggest they put out content in various ways, especially if you're new going in the door? Or would they pick one and kind of master it? I mean, which is the best suggestion?
Well, it depends on where you are in your business. If you're just starting out, I would definitely pick one or two where your ideal client is at, and choose the content that you think they're going to engage with you the most. So if that's video or, whatever it is, but I will say this, it's not as hard to take one piece of content, like maybe a blog post, and repurpose that content in multiple ways than it is to try to create more content. So let me explain that. And